Hello everyone. It's been a while since yung ating last na upload. Tonight, we are going to answer this grade 10 math worksheet that I made. So the topic is about permutations and combinations, grade level 10, third quarter lesson. There will be a total of 20 items. So this will be our general instructions. So I will just let you read that one. So let's focus on the concept review. So when we talk about permutation, always remember order matters, and it talks about arrangement. For example, I have here letters A and B. A and B. If I'm going to talk about arrangement, this is one arrangement. This is another arrangement. So I can arrange these letters A and B two ways. For example, three runners winning first, second, third place among five. And let me just go back. The formula for permutation is just this: n factorial divided by quantity of n minus r factorial. N is the total number of elements, and then r is the number that we are choosing from. So for example, here, we're actually choosing 3 among 5 students. So we have 5 factorial divided by 5 minus 3 factorial. And what do you mean when you say factorial? Whenever you see this sign, again, that is factorial. That's factorial. It is telling us to multiply the numbers from this number, or whatever number that is, downwards until 1. So for example, we have 5 factorial. This is the same as 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 and times 1. And always remember, when you have 1 factorial, that is 1. When you say 0 factorial, that is also 1. So here, how many ways can we actually choose 3 students among 5 for the first, second, and third place? So we have 5 factorial divided by the quantity of 5 minus 3 factorial. That will give us 60. Why do we get 60? So if you're going to solve this one, this will be 5 factorial over what is 5 minus 3? That is just 2 factorial, right? And again, I said earlier, when you say factorial, you're just multiplying downwards. So you have 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 and times 1 over what is 2 factorial? That is just 2 times 1. And if you notice here, this is actually, we can actually cancel this one, right? Right? Because again, since we are doing multiplication, we are allowed to do that. And we have here 5 times 4 times 3. This is 20 times 3. That is indeed 60. That is why we have 60 there. Combination. When we talk about combination, we are talking about selection. We are not talking about arrangement because that is permutation. What do I mean by that? Selection, order does not matter. For example, if I am going to group letters A and B, this group and this group are actually the same, right? So for instance, your teacher will be asking you form a group with 2 members in each group. So if this is your classmate A and this is you B, if you're going to interchange you and then your classmate, again, that is just one group, right? So again, that is an example of combination. Order does not matter. Selection or groupings. For instance, choosing 3 students from 5. So how many ways can we choose 3 students from 5 students? So again, our formula will be this one: n factorial divided by r factorial times the quantity of n minus r factorial. So we have here, our n is 5, so we have 5 factorial, and then our r, we are choosing 3 students, we have 3 factorial times the quantity of 5 minus r factorial, and it says here it's 10. So why is it 10? So again, we will say 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial, and then what is 5 minus 3 factorial? That is just 2 factorial, right? And then again, if you're going to expand, we have 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over, we know that 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1 times 2 factorial is 2 times 1. And again, since we are doing multiplication, we are allowed to cancel this one out. This is 3 factorial, right? And this is 3 factorial. So we are left with 5 times 4, that is actually 20, over 2 times 1, that is 2. And indeed, that will give us 10. I hope the concepts are clear. Let's do the items. Number 1, identify and compute. So state if permutation, we are to write P, or combination C, and then we are asked to solve. Number 1 again, a class president, vice president, and a secretary are to be chosen from 8 students. So again, we are choosing a student to become the class president, a vice president, and a secretary. So as we will ask ourselves, does order matters or order does not matter? The answer is it matters, right? This is a different person, a different one, and a different one. So this is permutation. So how do we solve this one again? This is just permutation. So instead of, we can actually do it this way. Here we are informed that we are going to make use of this formula, right? So we will have n factorial divided by n minus r, and then factorial. So again, this is 8 factorial divided by, this is, what is 8 minus 3? That is just, what do we call that? That is just 5, right? So we have 5 factorial. And if you notice here, this is 8 factorial is just 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial, right? That's over 5 factorial. And again, since we are doing multiplication, we can actually cancel that one out. We are left with 8 times 7 times 6. And this will give us, that's 336. Am I correct? Let me just to make sure I don't trust myself in multiplying, times 6. That is indeed 336. All right. So what you can also do is, instead of using this formula when you're doing permutation, you're just gonna count from this number, and then you start counting downwards on how many items are chosen. For example, here we have 1, 2, 3. So you will start 8 times 7 times 6. That is 3, right? That is just the same there. All right. And to add, you can actually use your calculator to solve permutations and combinations. Oops. So for instance, if you happen to see this one, the NPR and the NCR, that's NPR is permutation, NCR is the combination. So what you're going to do is you're gonna say shift this one. Wait, that should be, again, that's 8, and then shift P, and then we are choosing 3. So 8P3, click equal sign, that should give you the same answer, 336. Let's do number 2. Selecting 3 students from 10 to form a group. Is this permutation or combination? We are selecting 3 students from 10 to form a group. So again, since this is a group, this is just combination. And using our calculator, let's try to solve that one out. And then we're gonna solve it using pen and paper. So we're gonna say there are 10 students. We have 10, shift C, and then we are choosing 3. That gives us 120. So this is just 120. So I'm gonna write C we're choosing 3, that gives us 120. But how can we get 120 using the formula? Again, the formula is just n factorial divided by r factorial n minus r factorial. So we say 10 factorial over, what is r? We have 3 factorial times n minus r, that is 7 factorial. And then this is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 factorial over 3 factorial times 7 factorial. We can actually cancel this one out, and we are left with 10 times 9 times 8 over, what is 3 factorial? That is just 3 times 2 times 1, or that is just 6, right? And then what is this equal to? This is 90, 72, 720, right? That's 720. And again, 720 divided by 6, that is 120, the same as that one. The same. That's how we solve, again, combinations and permutation. Let's do number 3. Arranging 5 books on a shelf. So what is this one? We arrange 5 books on a shelf. So since we're talking about arrangement, this is permutation. So this is just what? Arranging 5 books. So we can do 5 first, and then 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. This will give us how much? This is still 120, right? This is 20. This is 60, 120. So there will be 120 ways we can arrange 5 books on a shelf. Because we are choosing 5, right? This is 5 permutation 5. Let me just show you using the calculator. 5 permutation 5, that is 120. Let's do number 4. Choosing 2 electives from 6 offered subjects. So again, choosing 2 electives from 6 offered subject. So we don't care about the order here. So again, this is a combination. And how do we do combination again? This formula. So we're gonna say 6 factorial divided by 2 factorial times 4 factorial. So we're gonna say 6 times 5 times 4 factorial over 2 factorial 4 factorial. This one will be cancelled. So you are left with 30. What is 2 factorial? That is just 2. This is 15. So there will be 15 ways to choose 2 electives from 6 offered subjects. Let's do number 5. Forming 3-digit number from digits 1, 2, 3, 4 without repetition. So it's without repetition, order does matter. So 3-digit number. We have 3-digit number. So in the first place, how many numbers or digits are our options? We have 4, right? That is 4 times 4 without repetition. So we are going to remove 1. There will be 3 remaining times 2. So this gives us how much? 24. So there will be 24 ways to form 3-digit numbers from digits 1, 2, 3, 4 without repetition. So there will be word problems here. So again, if you want to solve this one out, you can download the soft copy in our Google Classroom. I will just post it there. And then word problems. And then there will be mix challenge or problems. So again, there will be a total of 20 questions. Peace.